Right, so our last example on partial fractions, we deal with this one. I'm taking one from the revision exercise 6 on page 165. Right, so now we have a fraction. What do we do? First thing is we determine the degree of the numerator. We compare it to the degree of the denominator. Okay. If it is a proper fraction, that means if the top is smaller than the bottom, then you factorize your denominator, split it up into partial fractions. Now, let's check the degree of the numerator. So, the numerator the highest power there is 3, so it's third degree. Check the denominator. The highest power in the denominator is also 3, so third degree. So, what can we conclude from this is that the numerator is not of a lower degree than the denominator. If the numerator is not of a lower degree than the denominator, and use substitution, there's no exact derivatives here, then what we will do is, you need to simplify first. By using long division. Right, so what we're going to do is, let's rewrite our fraction here. So now we have x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 2 all divided by x cubed minus x. Now what we're going to do here is long division. So now our numerator and the denominator, we'll be calling them, they'll just be given different names, but it's still the numerator and the denominator. So the denominator is going to be called the divisor, and the numerator is the dividend. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's write this down. So we got our x cubed minus x on the outside there, that's the divisor. The dividend goes inside there, so that is x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 2. So it's always the divisor that's going to go on the outside. Alright. Now what we need to do is divide. So what is the process of long division? There are 4 steps. First, step number 1 is divide. Okay. Then step number 2, you got M, S, and then B. Step number 2 is multiply. Step number 3 will be subtract. And then the common mistake is for B. What does B stand for? What it does not stand for is brackets. B does not stand for bracket. Okay. B stands for bring down the next term in line with your calculation, in line with what you just subtracted. So B will stand for bring down. I'm just writing down the first word. Bring down the next term. That's what it means. Okay. So, what do you divide? First of all, everything must be from highest to lowest here. That means you got x to the power 3, the next one must be x to the power 2. Don't mix it up. Okay, highest to lowest. Now, even this one, your divisor, your dividend must be from highest to lowest. Now, you start dividing. So what are you going to do? You're taking the dividends over the divisor all the time. So the dividend there is x cubed, and you're dividing it by x cubed, and the result directly above here. This is going to be called the quotient. Okay, that is the answer to division. So x cubed divided by x cubed is equal to 1. Then the next step is to multiply. What you're going to do is the answer that you just worked out now, you will multiply it not only by term 1, but by every term in the divisor all the time. Okay, so 1 times x cubed will be x cubed. 1 times minus x is minus x. You're clear with that? Notice how I'm writing it down. I'm not writing down minus x here. I'm writing it down in order. The x cubed must be below x cubed. The x's must be below the x. The x squared must be below the x squared. Okay. So now, what is the next step? So we divided, we multiplied 1 times x cubed minus x, which was equal to x cubed minus x. That's what happened here. Subtract now. Top minus bottom. Okay. So now, there's an x cubed. There's no x squared. So it's actually a 0x squared. There's no constant. It's actually a 0 there. Nothing means 0. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with writing that down to make sure that you don't subtract the wrong things here. So now, subtract top minus bottom. So top minus, it doesn't matter which side you start from. Okay. But here, top minus bottom, 2 minus 0 is 2. Top minus bottom. So watch here now. Top is minus x, minus the bottom is also minus x. So therefore, it becomes minus x plus x, which is 0x. Now clear with that? Okay, now top minus bottom again. Minus 4x squared minus nothing is still minus 4x squared. Then x cubed, 1x cubed minus 1x cubed again, 0x cubed, which is just 0. Okay, now you bring down, but there is basically nothing to bring down here. Okay, there's basically nothing to bring down. So now, what we're left with is just minus 4x squared plus 2. Check, is it possible to divide again? Okay, now when do you divide? You only divide when the dividend is smaller than, is equal or larger than the divisor. So now what do I mean? Here, this was x cubed divided by x cubed, I got 1. But now this is out because that's just 0 there. Can you see that? So basically you got minus 4x squared, which is smaller than x to the power 3. So now you're not going to divide anymore. Okay, so that just was one step. The other example I'm going to deal with, there's more division there. But anyway, this is where we stop. Now, this is called the remainder. Okay. Right, so this here is called the quotients. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to write down our quotient plus the remainder all over the divisor. That's how you're going to write down your answer. Okay. So what just happened here? So this is equal to now 1 plus what we have, the remainder, which is minus 4x squared plus 2 all divided by your divided by x cubed minus x. Right, so if you find an LCD here, you should get back to the previous step. Okay, that means if I find an LCD of x cubed minus x, so if I multiply 1 times x cubed minus x, it should give me x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 2 all divided by x cubed minus. That's what you must check your answer. Or you can just substitute a value. Take your calculator, substitute a value for x into everything here. You'll get a corresponding y value. Substitute a value for x here, you must get the same thing. If you don't, that means you made a mistake somewhere. Right, so now, remember the question is integrate. So we can integrate this one, it's fine. Right, the problem is here now. This is the problem. If there was no 2, if there was maybe a no, there was no x there, alright, then we could have done this by use substitution. But now this is where we're going to apply our partial fractions now. Now you can see the numerator is 2, denominator is 3, so this is a proper fraction now. Can you see that? So what we're going to do is we're going to factorize the denominator. So here I'm going to take this and I need to factorize fully. Right. So we will get back to that number one day. Let's take this fraction and break it up into smaller fractions as partial fractions. That's exactly what we're going to do. So I got my minus 4x squared plus 2, and now I need to factorize here. So I'll take out a common factor of x. So I'm left with x squared minus 1. Can you see that? Now, this is a quadratic, but it can be factorized. That means you must factorize it. So this is still equal to minus 4x squared plus 2, that's x. This gives the difference of 2 squares. So that will be x minus 1, x plus 1. So this is where we're going to apply our partial fractions. And then at the end, don't forget the 1 that's also there. Right. So now this is equal to a all over x plus b all over x minus 1 plus c all over x plus 1. So this is where we do our partial fractions. So what are we going to do now? We're going to multiply by x times x minus 1 times x plus 1 on the left hand side. So this will cancel. So let me do that quickly. That will be minus 4x squared plus 2. And on this side, this x will cancel with x, so you're left with a times x minus 1, x plus 1. Then you got plus b, x minus 1 will cancel with x minus 1, so I'm left with x times x plus 1. And then I have c, x plus 1 will cancel with x plus 1, so I'm left with x times x minus 1. The partial fractions is easier, you can see. Even to work out A, B, and C is going to be easy because what can we substitute here? We can substitute 1, we'll work something out. We'll substitute minus 1, we'll work something else out. And then also 0. Can you see that? So let me do that fast. So let me go for let x equal to 0 first. If I let x equal to 0, I'm going to get a solution there. So that's a 0 there, 2 on the left hand side, 0 there, so that's minus a. 0 there, straight, we got our value for a. So therefore, a is equal to 2 divided by minus 1, which is 2. Alright, next substitution. Let x equal to 1. So if I replace x with 1, then on the left hand side I will have minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 2. Wherever I see x minus 1, I'm going to have a 0. So 1 minus 1, that's a 0. 1 minus 1, that's a 0. Here, 1 plus 1 is 2 times 1, which is 2, times b, which is 2b. So therefore, b is equal to minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1. Now, let x equal to minus 1 this time. If I let x equal to minus 1, so I'm still going to get minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 2. Wherever I see a plus 1, minus 1 plus 1, I'm getting a 0 there. Minus 1 plus 1 is a 0 there. Minus 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 times minus 1 is plus 2. So that's going to be a 2c. So therefore, c is equal to minus 2 divided by 2, which is minus 1. So now I can integrate everything. Let me substitute back for a, b, and c first. So let's see what's going to happen here. So therefore, I need to integrate. Now don't forget, let me start with this one here. I need to integrate 1 plus, now I'm dealing with the fraction. And there's the fraction here. Can you see that? There's the solution for this here. So a over x, what was my a? Minus 2 over x. Then we got b over x minus 1, minus 1 over x minus 1. And then c is also minus 1 here, so that will be minus 1 over x plus 1 dx. And now the last part is the easiest part, the integration. The main thing is, you knew that you had to use long division. So we can integrate this. You integrate 1 with respect to x, you get x. Integrate this, that will be minus 2 ln x. Integrate here, minus 1 ln of x minus 1, and that will be minus 1 ln of x plus 1 plus c. You're done. Right, so have a look at that. Right, so our next problem from page 54. First thing to do is check the degree of the numerator. It's 4. The degree of the denominator, 3. So the numerator is not of a lower degree. If it is not of a lower degree, we must use long division to simplify. So we got our x cubed plus 2x squared plus x. And here we got x to the power 4 minus x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now, step number 1 is divide. So x to the power 4 on the top divided by x to the power 3, and that will give you just x. You're clear with that? Now, you will multiply whatever you got, not only by term 1, but by all other terms. So x times x cubed would be x to the power 4, x times 2x squared will be plus 2x to the power 3, x times x will be plus x squared. Right. So that's divide, multiply, subtract. Okay, subtract. So now when you subtract, it's top minus bottom. Okay. Or if you want to change the sign of the bottom and add. Alright, but anyway, let me just go top minus bottom. Top minus bottom, minus 3 minus 1 will give me minus 4x squared. Minus 1 minus 2 will be minus 3x cubed, and plus and a minus will give me 0. You're clear with that? This is just a 0x to the power 3. Now, look, I could have written down 0x and 0. That's what I did with the previous example. But let me show you the bring down process since I did not show you before. So we subtracted. Now the next step, the last step is bring down the next few terms in line with your solution, in line with what you just worked out. So here's the two terms here. We will bring them down. So this is minus 2x plus 1. Alright, so now we're done with the 4-step process. We go back and repeat it if it's possible to do so. Yes, it is possible because x cubed and x cubed I can divide it. So minus 3x cubed on the top divided by x cubed will be minus 3. Then minus 3 times x cubed is minus 3x cubed. Minus 3 times 2x squared is minus 6x squared. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x. Okay. So I am going to subtract now. Now I'm not going to bring down again. Let me just go straight and put a 0. It means the same thing. It doesn't really matter. I can put a 0. 0 means nothing. Right. So I'm going to subtract top minus bottom, 1. Top minus bottom, positive x. Top minus bottom, positive 2x squared. Top minus bottom, 0. You must always get 0 as a first term when you do your subtraction. If you don't get a 0 here, you made a mistake somewhere. Right, you must get the 0 here, the first one. Now check. This is x squared, which is smaller than x cubed. So if it is smaller, you stop. Only if it is equal or larger, improper fraction, then you will divide. So therefore, this is now your remainder, and there's your quotient there. So this is now equal to x minus 3, which was this part here, plus the remainder all over the divisor. So the remainder is 2x squared plus x plus 1 all over the divisor there, which was x cubed plus 2x squared plus x. So this we will deal with at the end. Now we need to take this fraction. It's a proper fraction. It's a second degree on the top, third degree in the bottom. Top is smaller than the bottom. So factorize your denominator. Let's see what happens. So we got 2x squared plus x plus 1. Here I can take out a common factor of x. So I'm left with x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now we have a quadratic. Always check, is it possible to factorize the quadratic further? Let's check now. So we got our 2x squared plus x plus 1, and that's x. Can we factorize this further? We got x and x, that will be 1 and 1 there. Yes, 1 plus 1 will give me 2, 1 times 1 will give me 1. Is this factorized correctly in proper? Factorized fully? No, it's not. Be careful. Right, it's not done properly. You need to write it down like this here. X squared plus x plus 1 all over x. These are repeated bases. You do not leave them. X plus 1 times x plus 1 will be the same as x plus 1 all squared. If you left it like this, it's wrong. Straight, it's wrong. Okay, you must factorize fully. This is it. Now, you write down your fractions. So this is equal to a all over x plus b all over x plus 1 to the power 1 plus c all over x plus 1 squared. And if you did not factorize this here, you will not be able to tell that it's going to be c over x plus 1 all squared. You will go and write down b over x plus 1, c over x plus 1, which is completely wrong. Okay, so be careful. From here, it's easy. You can go and work it out. And we continue in the next lesson.